Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everybody to the Brand Zone. Here for all your marketing, branding, selling, and investment information. Today I have a special guest. It's my favorite subject. It's so many wealth building opportunities in real estate. So today I have Mr. Jim Adams the fourth. How's it going, Mr. Jim?
Hey man, I'm doing good. How about you, Brandon?
I'm doing fabulous, man. I'm blessed. Both feet on the ground. Woke up in my
I know
right
that's right.
mind. God is good. God is
I know
good.
that's right.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. So first of all, I just want to hear about your journey. What got you into real estate investing?
I was born into real estate investment. I'm third generation, so my great aunt and uncle they probably had 60 plus free and clear houses. I mean, they have 60 plus free and clear houses right now in Tupelo, Mississippi. And my parents, they did rehabs. They flipped a lot of houses. I mean, north of 300 houses while I was growing up. And I mean, so I've just been around real estate, seen it. My dad had a portfolio of rental property. So yeah, I mean, I used to cut yards there, and I used to do a lot of bird dogging and repair estimates. It was yeah. So I mean, I've been in it. I've been in real estate.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So when did you branch off on your own and decide to do your first deal?
Okay, so like yeah, my first deal on my own was with my twin sister, and this is when we moved up to Nashville. Originally, I'm from Mississippi originally, Madison, Mississippi, and I mean, I'd say when I started going on my own was 2012 here in Nashville. We went to one of those Merrill weekend seminars, and I think the coaching program was like 30 grand. I didn't have 30 grand to get a coach, So we just ended up kind of doing it guerrilla style and just got to marketing, Bandit Signs, things like that.
Awesome,
But
awesome. And for our audience, I know they probably haven't really heard of, maybe they heard of real estate investing, maybe they haven't heard of real estate investing. I know in our culture, when we think about housing and buying houses, selling houses, we think about real estate agents. Shout out to all my real estate agents watching. I'm not here to bash y'all. I just want to let y'all know there's a different side of the fence, which is real estate investing. So for those listeners that don't really understand or can distinguish the two with real estate investing and real estate agents, what is the difference in the two? If that's maybe a broad question, I don't know if we can.
Well, I mean, real estate agents they get a license. They have a license, so they have to study and go through courses and take a test, and they get certified as a realtor. Investors, I mean, you don't need any certifications to invest. You really need just money or knowledge, and some action taken.
So what do we need real estate agents for? Like if you
okay, so let me listen. I'm not a real estate agent, but like I have plenty of real estate agents that have brought me deals. Like I'd say if you're looking to sell your house, like for if your house is in good condition and it doesn't need much work and you're trying to get top dollar, real estate agent is going to be your person to go to. They also are the professionals. I mean, they are experts as well. I mean, all investors aren't experts. You really just need, like I said, some money and some time and knowledge to jump into investing. But yeah, I mean, your real estate agent is going to be your real estate professional that will help you along your either buying process or selling process. And when you want to get into investing, like, or if a seller is to look for an investor, I mean, they're probably looking to sell their property quicker, a quiet sale, not a quiet sale, but not publicly, not a sign in the yard. They just want to get it done fast and just kind of wipe their hands clean with it.
Got you. So say you own a piece of property, you live in it, it's time to sell it. Is there possibilities to sell it yourself without having an agent? Do you need an agent to make that transaction?
No, you don't need an agent to sell your house. No.
Okay, and that's what I wanted the listeners to hear from a veteran such as Jim, because me and my wife ran into this situation. We have a townhome that we're wanting to sell, and she's like, "Oh, I need to call the agent." And all that. I'm like, "No, baby, we don't need to do that. I have a piece of paper. I know how to put how much we want to sell it for, the stipulations, and then just take it to a title company, and then we'll sell our property, save us a good $3-4 grand from buying an agent." Because in my opinion, I just believe an agent will, they're like you said, professionals. They'll show the house off. They'll be there to show off the property. They do other marketing things, put on the MLS and things like that, which is like you said, the listing where you can go on. Don't let me be lying to the people. I'll
correct you, but
okay. It goes on like Realtor.com. What's another one?
So if you're using an agent, they're probably more than likely going to list it on the MLS, which is the multiple listing service, and that just gets you. I mean, it's nationwide coverage, so I mean, like it just gets it in front of more people. So I mean, yeah, and they'll also put it on Realtor.com and Zillow. I think it might auto populate into some of these other websites, but the main one here in Tennessee is the MLS.
And in my situation, I had a buyer already. The tenant in there wanted to buy the property, so I'm like, why am I going to get an agent to sell the house to somebody I already know that wants to buy it? You're like, yeah. But people don't know that. Like, people will go get an agent thinking you need an agent to mediate that transaction, which you don't. You just need a contract. And we're going to get into contract.
Typically, I wouldn't be the person to be like, here, go get an agent. I'd be like, sell me the house. But if you don't have contact to me, or if you don't know like an investor yourself, your agent will help you read those contracts. So I mean, there's certain things that you do have to get licensed and certified, and they have policies and regulations to keep the homeowner safe when they are selling their property. So I don't want to. I mean, this isn't my normal pitch.
Yeah.
I think you called me about. I think you told me about that townhouse, and I'm just like, well, what do you want for it? Like, we don't need to talk about any agents. Let's just see what we can make work.
Exactly. So, and I mean, that's just the beauty of it. I just want to open my audience's mind that there is a difference between real estate investing and regular transactions with a real estate agent. So now that we have that, now we have the right mindset, let's get into wholesaling real estate. Let's talk about wholesale. What is wholesaling real estate, which I love so much? Can you explain to them?
Well, wholesaling real estate is when you find a property that's off market, meaning not on the MLS, not listed with an agent, and you find a property, you get it under contract at a discounted price, and then you sell that contract to a rehabber or someone looking to rent out buy the house to rent it out. Like a rehabber is, I don't know if everybody's seen the HGTV stuff like that. Those are the type of people we sell our properties to. They kind of fix them up and sell them. I'm not really interested in that. I mean, I saw hundreds of houses being rehabbed growing up, and that was never something I wanted to do myself.
So wholesaling kind of gets you out of the fix and flip. You're basically finding that property. Now, how do you go about finding these properties, and where did you get the contract for the sellers to sign? Like, how does that work?
Well, I mean, we've got our contract now. I'm not really sure where we got it from, but we use a really simple one-page contract, and we've been using it for the last 8 years. So, it's simple and to the point. But I missed the first question.
Yeah, where do you find these sellers at?
You can find them all over the place. I mean, you can find them on Craigslist. Craigslist is a free way to find them. One of the ways that we do a lot of cold calling, and I know you mentioned you've done some cold calling yourself. Cold calling is time consuming, so we did a lot of cold calling. We send out direct mail where we're like, I don't know if you've ever gotten a letter on that house on your townhouse. I used to handwrite them when I first got started. I used to handwrite them myself. I'm talking about hands cramping. Family come in town, I'd recruit them to write letters with me. Like after dinner, let's just come on. I got the red ink and the yellow paper. Let's get it popping. But you got that. We do voicemail drops. I mean, there's quite a few. I'm actually writing a book, an ebook on finding off market properties, and it should be by the end of the month. Release that by the end of the month. So
I'm most definitely gonna get that. And so what do you look for with these properties? Like, what makes a property stand out for you to send a letter to or make a call, or how do you get properties?
So we've in the past we've done driving for dollars. So like driving for dollars is just it's another tactic to find off market property. You're looking for distressed properties like overgrown grass. The house looks torn down. Sometimes if it looks vacant, I'll kind of even walk up, and I don't suggest people do this. I don't care anymore. So I'll just walk up and go see if the meter's on. If the meter is off, I'm trying to get in touch with that owner ASAP. A vacant property isn't making you any money. So that would be a reason or a motivation to sell. So like that's another thing. Like when you ask the question, where do I find the sellers? We're looking for motivated people that would have a reason or a circumstance that has happened, or that they're going through that they might be motivated to sell. Like a few of those reasons would be a landlord evicted a tenant. If a landlord's evicted a tenant, it's because the tenant wasn't the right tenant. So either they're going to go ahead and they're going to turn the property over for a new tenant, or they're just going to wipe their hands clean with it and sell it. Inherited property, you've got people that just get passed down properties, your probates, where you have heirs on it, where they don't want anything to do with the property. They want some money. I mean, why not put a little chunk of cash in their pocket? You've got there's some code violations. You see a bunch, and you can get a lot of these this information at the courthouse, where it's like, matter of fact, I suggest if you're looking for off-market properties to get very familiar with your courthouse system, and
that's a big one. That's a money-making gold mine for you all out there. Is go to these courthouses, get the code violation list. I know I had to sign something, and they just sent me over a list here in Rutherford. But even tax delinquent list. There's so many things out there. I even heard of one for spouses that their significant other went to jail. Like,
there is there is the 24-hour rest. I forget what we call it, but 24-hour rest records. If somebody got arrested, you kind of run their name, see if they've got any property they own, and see if they're still selling it. You're really looking for any type of life situation where it would make sense for someone to sell their property.
And that's awesome. That's awesome. And I know I put in the headline, you need $0. So I want.
I saw it, man. I was like, you can. No, listen. You can make money. You can make money wholesaling. You can find property without putting down a dime. It might take you some time. Like Craigslist. Craigslist is free. All you got to do is just be on there. Be on there, know how to evaluate the property and make some offers, and you'll be able to snag something up. You can also go door knocking. I don't door knock that much. I'm 6'5" and I'm a big guy. I don't really just walk up on people's door anymore. But every once in a while I'll do it. Like if there's a property on the same street that we've got a contract on, I'll absolutely go knock on some doors. And that's another thing. Like if you see a vacant property, you might want to just hang out a little bit and see if a neighbor walks out, and just try to see if they have any information to get that seller's information to you. If they know anything about the property, how long has it been vacant? And I suggest doing that even when you do have a property under contract, is talk to the neighbors, because I mean, they know what's going on. They're like, oh yeah, that basement's flooded like 8 times.
Yeah.
Like what? Like it's crazy, but like yeah, I mean, just that's a free way to find property.
And the long term and
networking for sure. Like let everybody know you're buying property. Let everybody know you're looking for a property. You're looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. You know, like and you're a cash buyer, or you work with cash buyers. You know, like but let people know because you can find them.
And that's how I found Jim. I became a part of the Real Estate Investors of Nashville, and I suggest anyone looking into wholesaling or want to learn more about real estate investing and all the many opportunities in that to join that, because there's a lot of people in there that's really doing it and really making moves in the real estate investing arena. And so that is exactly how I found Jim. I found out we had the same CPA because we was in the same network. So you get in a network, you start, things start becoming similar. So they say you are who you hang around. So
right.
So also for the long-term game, just to piggyback on what Jim said, some things I've seen work for myself. Like you said, Craigslist. There's an app called Nextdoor. I just put "we buy houses" on there, and months later, I get calls from people talking about, they had this property. I go look at it and all this other stuff. So
what's that program?
The Nextdoor app. It's kind of like Facebook Marketplace. Yeah. See, it's that low hanging fruit. It's that low hanging fruit. So yeah, man, it's just see, we can learn from each other, man. That's the power of networking. And there's also some things out there like Bandit Signs. You may see some signs out there about "we buy houses." And maybe you can elaborate on that. I'm not too familiar with the laws in Tennessee. I see them out there, but I don't know.
We're not supposed to do it here, but we do it. Like, I don't do Bandit Signs as much anymore unless it's like in a specific area. But when I first got started, we would put Bandit Signs out all over Middle Tennessee. All over. And like it would be like my sister, I'd be riding shotgun, we'd be driving at dusk, like where it's still dark, and or which is sunset? Is it dusk?
I think dusk. Dawn. Okay,
anyway,
dusk then. It's dusk.
Anyways, it'd be right when it was getting dark, go putting signs out in intersections all over the place, and get a call the next morning saying you gotta get these down. Get these down by the end of the day. And then we just move to another area. And just like, because if they say they would fine us, but I never got a fine from it. They just got calls saying come take them down.
Did you put your real number on there, or did you use something like CallRail?
So like that was back when like before CallRail, before I knew about CallRail, when we were using Google Voice, and I will never use Google Voice again because they shut me down. Like when I was marketing a property, they just stopped. And I was like, I had put marketing out there to sell this property, and it was a good deal. And I was like starting to get hit up, and then all of a sudden it just stopped. And I couldn't open up the app or anything. So I don't use Google Voice. We do, but I have. But back then we did use a Google Voice number to put on the Bandit Signs.
All right. And see, that's what I just wanted to make y'all aware of. Don't go out there putting your real number on the Bandit Signs. Find you a number. CallRail is a good source.
CallRail, yeah, for sure.
Yep.
And if you're gonna do Bandit Signs, like one of the tactics that a lot of people use is putting them up like Thursday night or Friday night, and picking them up Sunday night or something like that, so that you're not. People don't usually go out of their way to call to work. Like the city workers aren't going to be like, yo, I'm not at work right now, but when I get back, you need to have those signs down. So if you're going to put them up, but I think really the best use of Bandit Signs right now is to find buyers, because like when we had our Bandit Signs out, majority of the calls we were getting were people saying, "Hey, I'm a cash buyer, put me on your list." And we built up a huge buyers list. Then we got 2,300. maybe not 23. Maybe it's like 17. I got a lot of buyers. I got a lot of buyers, and a majority of those came from Bandit Signs, just putting up we have buy houses, and we got a few deals too that way. But majority of them was just, hey, put me on your list. I need something like that. I'm looking for buys. They tell you what it is.
That's a big number. That's a big number. Now, for our listeners, we're going to explain to y'all buyers list and what is a buyer. Why do you need a buyer in this transaction? Like, first, we found the seller. We told you about different ways you can find motivated sellers. So what does a buyer have to do in this process?
They pay you.
Yeah.
So when it comes to, so we found the property, you've got it locked up under contract. So now you're looking to sell the property to someone so that they can add value to it themselves. So you obviously want to leave enough room or enough meat on the bone for everybody to eat some. So you want to bring a discounted property to a rehabber who is going to rehab the whole house. They're gonna make it look. They're gonna turn it from 1940 standard or whatever. Whenever the last update was on that property, they're gonna bring it up to 2020 status. I always say 2020 HGTV status. So because that's essentially what they're doing. They got to make it look new so they can sell it. But you want to bring it to them at enough of a discount to where they can put money into it and they can sell it at retail value. So, I mean, when you're looking for a buyer, you typically want to find somebody that can close with cash that isn't contingent on a financing loan, because you don't have the luxury of taking that chance, because and typically when they're getting financed, they take a little longer to close on. But you don't want somebody to tie up your contract for 21, 30, 45 days and then not get the financing, because then you're screwed. So you're looking for a cash buyer, and I always say close quick. And then if I've got 30 days in the contract, I need them to close in 14 to 21 days. Mm-hmm. I don't want them tying up my property for 21 days.
Yeah. So let's rewind back to the seller getting the property at a discounted price. I know it may look like, we're trying to undercut or underbuy these houses or do something unethical, but you got to realize we're looking for houses that have problems. We're trying to solve people's problems. They can't get a real estate agent because their house is not 2020 status. There's some delinquent taxes on it. There's something wrong, and we're there to offer cash to fix their problem. So what do you say to these sellers in the process of negotiating a price for their house?
Well, I mean, I just try to see what they want to walk away with. What do they want to put in their pocket? I mean, if I'm going to solve this problem for you, what do you really need to walk away with? So it's like, if you owe $100,000 on this property, it's worth $180,000. How much do you really need to walk away with? That and just trying to get them to give you a price. I try to get them to give me a price first at all costs. And if they're like, I don't know, I don't really know yet, I'll just kind of say something like, well, if we can pay your closing costs, I mean, you don't have to pay us any commissions. Going through a realtor, you would have to pay commissions and your closing costs most likely. But if we pay your closing costs and you're not paying us any commissions, what's the best you can do on price? That's typically what it is with the negotiations. I mean, I've got scripts that my guys used, and I don't know if I answered that right. I don't know.
No, you did, and you did, and I'm gonna branch off on that as well. How do you go in knowing already what you're willing to offer? Like, already know it.
Yeah. So if I say there's a property at 123 Main Street, I get that lead. I look up the after repair value. That's the ARV after repair value. That's what it will sell for, or what similar properties are selling for. So if it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house at 123 Main, you look for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house in a half-a-mile radius of the property you're looking at, and then you look for closed properties that are 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom houses in that half-mile radius within the last 6 months. Properties that have been bought, people are living there. You know, like, and that's my radius, and then we take the average of those numbers, and that's your after repair value.
And so that's top dollar. That's the
So
after repair value.
that's what it can sell for. That's what HGTV. That's what they're going to sell for on HGTV, right?
Yeah.
That's what they're going to sell for. So at that point, so I know that number. So once I get to that number, I then multiply it by 70%. Typically 70%. It just depends. You know, like, I mean, if it's a high rental area, I don't use the 70% rule. But if it's a rehab area and they are looking to just flip it and then just sell it at 70%. Minus the repairs that it's going to take. So if I haven't seen the property and it's just like we're on a phone conversation, I already know that if 123 Main is worth 200,000, right? If 123 Main is 200,000, I do that times 70%. So I know the most I can pay for that property is 140,000. That's your maximum allowable offer. That's the most I can pay for it, and that's using the 70% rule. I mean, and that's I guess that's the general rule of thumb. I mean, we've kind of played with that number depending on the neighborhood, the estate, like if it's an established neighborhood, just really the location of it mainly. But yeah, so at 140,000, that's where I'm at. So if I don't see the house, I usually just say, hey, I'm at 100. I'm between 130, 140,000 minus the repairs it's going to take to get to HGTV status, right? So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being HGTV, 1 being falling through the floor, where would you put your house? And they tell me it's a 7, which means it's a 5. You know?
Yeah.
so I'm like, okay. So then, I mean, and then there's like general rule of thumbs in like different areas that I've just seen from just rehabbers, like using $50, $60 a square foot to rehab a property. And I'll kind of use that. But a lot of times I just really want to get out there and take a look at it and try to assess the repairs just through a walkthrough of what, like, if the roof is going to need to be fixed and whatnot. And then I can make that offer at whatever that repair estimate will be. So it's like 140,000 minus 30,000. So that means the most I can pay for this property is 110. Well, 110. Then I need to put my fee in there, and I try to make 10 on all of them, at least 10.
That's so 10 grand, people. It's money in this.
It's 10 grand. Yeah, it's 100,000. So that would be my offer, 100,000. So I'd probably be like, I mean, we could probably make 90 to 100,000 work on it, and then kind of give it some room for them to be like, 90 is not going to work. I'm like, well, let's go 93.5 or something, like, well, just, I know that I want to get to 100 and I want to leave that room to negotiate. That's just one of my tactics. It's not always.
And I'm going to rewind for the listeners as someone, as a student to the game. So first I find the seller. I found their motivation. I hear they're motivated. They have a reason why they're needing to sell. I look up the property. I find the ARV, the after repair value. I'll YouTube that for all my listeners, get more information on after repair value. Look in a certain mile radius of similar housing. I'm assuming seeing what has closed in the past 6 months. After I get that ARV, I go in, try to set up an appointment to look at the property, look at the roof and everything. And you have an advantage because you grew up with rehabbers and things like that. But for my listeners, you need to figure out how to assess property some kind of way. I don't know how.
I mean, I did grow up a rehabber, so I do have a general base knowledge on it, but I wouldn't say it's got me that far. Like with that knowledge. Now listen, like when we were growing up, 2008 hit. When 2008 hit, like we weren't there were no rehabs going on, and I didn't get back into it until like 2012. So it was in a completely different market. So I mean, we've found repair estimate worksheets, not worksheets, but repair estimate. Yeah, I guess we call them worksheets. And I could probably put that on my website or something to get like a free download or something like that. But
That'd be lovely.
Speaking of, so for this ebook on finding off market properties, go to findingoffmarketproperties.com, put your email address in, and I will notify you once I finish I'll put you on the list so you can get the copy.
Awesome. I'll put that in the show notes for my listeners. Jim is giving out value for us, man. Thank you so much, Jim. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So after you find a seller, you got the contract signed, you go out, you promote to your buyers list and all that. Now, how does closing look? Like, you have double closings, and can you explain the double closing? And
so yeah, I mean, you can either sign your contract, which, I mean, yeah, you can. So signing your contract is just what it says. You have a contract. You're signing your paper contract to your buyer, and they're going to pay you the difference between the price that you have it at and the price that you have sold it to them at, or you have told them at, or their offer, and they would give you that in between. So for this scenario, we got it at 100,000. We got 123 million at 100,000. We know that from the 140 minus the 30 in repairs, that leaves you at 110. So that's a $10,000 spread. So I've got it at 100. I know I can sell it at 110, and so you sell that property at 110 to your buyer. You have them sign the assignment contract. You send them an assignment contract and we have a blind contract where it doesn't tell you how much we're making. It just says, hey, you're agreeing to see this contract. And usually when you assign your contract, your buyers want to see the contract with the sellers. So we do that. We just kind of black out our information, our price, sometimes our closing time. If we've got a bunch of time on it, we black that out because we want them to close as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Should have probably said that online.
No, that's cool. Appreciate that. I needed that information. Yes,
my buyers are gonna be like, oh, okay. No, so yeah, we'll do that. And so then they sign your assignment. You go to closing. I'm mainly using Providence Title right now, and they get the contract from the seller. They get the assignment from your buyer. You send them the contract from your seller. You send them the assignment from your buyer. You give them your seller's information, and like just like a tip on being professional with your title companies is when you're emailing your contracts, go ahead and add the contact information. Hey, listen, this is seller for 123. This is seller. This is seller A, or no, this is the seller at 123 Main. This is their email address. This is their phone number. This is how much we're buying the property for. This is your buyer. We're assigning our contract, $10,000 assignment to buyer. This is their phone number. This is their email address, and this is their contract.
So like a cover sheet.
Yeah, you just want to make it as easy as possible for your title company, so they're not grabbing for different information in different places, and just try to work with them best you can, but because they're there to help you and to help the transaction.
Awesome, man, awesome. I hope you all have your pen and paper because you all are getting some jewels right now. I'm not going to hold Jim up too much longer, but I have some personal questions that I need to ask him myself as a up and coming investor as well. So say the property's not vacant. How do you say, did your buyers have to look at the property like to see if they want to buy it? Like, because I know if it's vacant, see, I got my little lockbox right here. You know,
yeah.
My buyers can go in at any time.
Right.
If someone's living in there, like if they want to look at it, do you set that up or how's that work?
Yeah, you set it up.